So a Dak Prescott trade has completely taken over Browns Twitter and just the Browns internet in general. And I want to discuss where it started from, if it's got any legs to it at all, and basically if it's got any possibility. So Bruce Drennan, who if you don't know is or was a very accomplished Cleveland sports commentator. He did color for the Indians and play-by-play for the Cavs decades ago. Then he had a little bit of a run-in with the law once or twice. You can go check out his Wikipedia and see more about that. And now he has his own YouTube show, and it's on the Big Play Network, the Bruce Drennan Show. I don't know. I just learned of all of this today. And on this show, he shared a clip where he said the Browns are negotiating as we speak with the Dallas Cowboys for a trade with Dak Prescott. So this is the background on how we got to a whole bunch of people talking about whether or not Dak could be traded to Cleveland. Let me make this crystal clear. This is not happening. Dak Prescott will not be traded to the Cleveland Browns. This does not have a 1% chance. This does not have a tiny chance of happening. No. Dak Prescott is never going to get traded to the Cleveland Browns in the 2025 NFL offseason for so many reasons, okay? Let's go through some of the logistical reasons before we even look at what other reporters are saying in case you take Bruce's word over their word. From a financial standpoint, it's inconceivable. It would bring on a 100 or round up $50 million dead cap hit. The NFL record belongs to Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Any guesses as to what that number is? $85 million. We're talking about almost doubling the NFL dead money record. The NFL salary cap is at $280 million. This would be almost half of it, okay? So from a financial standpoint, it cannot. Not that it shouldn't. Not that it'd be difficult. No, this truly is financially, it can't be done. That's one reason. But if you're like, hey, the cap's a myth, you can always work it out. All right, sure. I'll buy your word for that. The cap is a myth. How about this one? When Dak got that new extension, remember he signed it week 1 before they played the Browns? It included a no-trade clause. Quick show of hands. Unless you're driving, keep your hands on the wheel. Does anyone think Dak is going to waive his no-trade clause to come play for the Cleveland Browns? Does anyone think Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, is going to waive his no-trade clause to come play for the Cleveland Browns? The answer is a big, fat no. It's not happening. Just from a logistical and a contract standpoint. So many reporters have come out and said, hey, I talked to people in Dallas. This is not true. I've got the Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports saying, I talked to people in Cleveland. This is not true. So even if you don't believe them, believe the no-trade clause and the $148 million dead money charge that would be brought on by trading Prescott. So how did we ever get here in the first place? I've got 2 theories. One, Bruce made it all up. Completely fabricated. Woke up this morning and thought, let me create a complete fake trade rumor and I will get attention. I will get eyeballs. People will start talking about me and it'll bring eyeballs to my YouTube channel. And if that was the goal, big fat check mark. Mission accomplished. Because here I am talking about a Dak Prescott trade when I thought I'd be talking about Joe Flacco coming back or Shedeur Sanders at number 2. Nope. That gets pushed to the side a little bit because everyone wants to know, what is this Dak Prescott story? It's not, well, it is now, but it's not a huge office at Chat Sports, and I can't make it to the kitchen from my desk to get my water before someone asks me, what's this Dak Prescott story? Is there any truth to this at all? So, yes, if that was the goal by Bruce to get some eyeballs and get attention, you did it. The other theory that I'm working with is this Condoleezza Rice 2.0? Do the Browns have a mole? Remember in February when, during the Combine, the number 1 storyline from Cleveland was the Browns are going quarterback at number 2. And I kept saying over and over again, this is not like the Browns. They don't let things leak. They don't tell people what their plans are. They don't like the attention. Jerry Jones hops on a radio show every single week in the season voluntarily to talk about himself and the team, no matter how good or how bad things are going, because he likes the attention. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry do not have a weekly sit-down on ESPN Cleveland or anywhere else for that matter. So I wonder if there is a leak within Berea and the Browns are trying to flush out the mole. It's like The Departed, but no one dies. Those are my two theories. You tell me which theory you like more. I like the fabrication theory. Now, to round it all out, and then we can finally put this behind us and never talk about it again, Jane Slater, who covers the Cowboys, she went to town on this, saying that there is nothing with any substance to this. It wasn't just Jane, plenty of other reporters, insiders. Ian Rappaport, Charles Robinson, the list goes on, saying, no, this is fake. So, welcome to the NFL offseason. When things get a little dry, people make stuff up, I guess. So, I'm sorry for anyone that came, home from school or finished their shift at work and was like, holy crap, I think the Browns are going to trade for Dak Prescott. No, that is not going to happen. Now, if you are holding out a little bit of hope for this, I did have someone ask me on Twitter, hypothetically, what it costs for a trade. So I thought, all right, well, while we're here, I guess we can discuss the possibility. And I'm going to include Greg Newsome in this because that's who Bruce Drennan, singled out by name as a player that would go to Dallas in a Prescott trade. So what about this idea? Cleveland and Dallas swaps first-round picks this year, and Dallas gets Newsome and a future first. Cowboys probably want a little bit more, / definitely want a little bit more, but in this entire theory, it was all about Dallas wants to get Shedeur Sanders, and then they bring Dion over and kind of give Schottenheimer the Gerard Mayo treatment, where no matter what happens in year one, they're going to fire him and make Dion the head coach. So Cowboys get Shedeur at number 2. They get Newsome to start at corner because they lost a few players in free agency and a future first-round draft pick. But again, I am not trying to illustrate this as, oh, this is my trade idea. I'd love to see this happen. No, it's not going to happen. When it comes to Dak in general, would you trade for him? Let me make it abundantly clear right now, too. Even though this has no chance of happening, people should not be turning their nose up at the idea of trading for Dak. You should not believe that I'd rather have Kenny Pickett and Carson Wentz in this quarterback room than Dak Prescott. When you factor in what you'd have to give up for him in the contract, okay, I can understand that. But just pound for pound, just take contracts and draft picks out of it, we should all be in agreement. Dak is 100 times better than any quarterback option for the Browns this offseason. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, what I wanted to talk about on today's episode was Joe Flacco, because with Russell Wilson going to the Giants, it appears that Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Steelers, which means the Browns are the only one at the dance without a dance partner. Because you start to look around and everyone's doing a slow dance with someone. And the Browns are sitting there, with how's the American Pie song go? I love American Pie. Like, whatever. Bad transition. Flacco, Browns. Let's talk about this. I don't think it's got a very good chance of happening still, and I just say that from what would Andrew Berry do mentality. And my Andrew Berry thought is he's not going to sign Flacco when he didn't sign him last year, and he has no real answer as to why you sign him this year when he was worse in 2024 than when he was better in 2023. So I believe that pride and ego is going to kick in, and that's what's going to stop Flacco from coming back to Cleveland. I don't think Flacco is going to get signed anywhere. I think people are going to look at him and go, you're 40 and you're coming off at best average season. We'll just go a different direction, right? So I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubbles, and I know that there is nothing more fun than going on Twitter and seeing, people put out Joe Flacco poems and pictures and whatnot. But no, I don't think. Like, I know Dak's not coming to Cleveland. I don't believe Joe Flacco will be signed by the Browns. And the unpopular opinion is I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Now, you're also at the point here where there's not a lot of good options. I'd rather have probably Flacco than Carson Wentz. But on one hand, I would like to preserve my Joe Flacco memory as is. And it'd be a bummer if Flacco came out in 2025, sucked, and we kind of have the 2023 image watered down of, ooh, yeah, probably shouldn't have tried to run that back 2 years later. Before we sign off, I do want to remind everyone that there is an awesome deal continuing over on Fanatics for a Brownie the Elf hat that is 70% off. Brown shirts, pullovers, sweatshirts, jerseys, all at chatsports.com/CLE hat. Use our link to get a lot of these deals. I put it in the comments and description of today's video. All right, let's pick a card to wrap up one of the most ridiculous episodes of the offseason, but it was one of the most discussed topics of the offseason for 4 to 5 hours today. So, Reed, which card do you want to go with?
Let's go with 4 of clubs for Dak Prescott.
4 of clubs? All right, I'm going to go with 5 of spades. Jack of diamonds. All right. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't yet, scroll on down and click that subscribe button on your way out.